Sonic 3 is one of the highest grossing video game movies of all time, and with that good of a gaming movie, it has to have a lot of references to the game it's based on. Today, I'm going to talk about every single game reference I could find in Sonic Movie 3, excluding all uses of Green Hill and Live and Learn, because those are pretty obvious. The order on these might be a bit weird because of the flashbacks and whatnot, but I'll try to make it less confusing. Also, if you couldn't tell, there's going to be spoilers for Sonic Movie 3 and a bunch of Sonic games, primarily Sonic Adventure 2. I hope this video doesn't get nuked by YouTube or Sega, because it probably will. Starting off at the beginning of the movie, we see the gun base called Prison Island off the shore of Tokyo, Japan. While both SA2 and canonically it's in San Francisco being based on Alcatraz, it's cool they decided to include it, seeing as it's where Shadow was locked up in SA2. Up next is inside the base on Prison Island. While the two main guards were talking about donuts, you can see a little statue up in front of the glass, and if you look close, you can tell it's Omega from Sonic Heroes, not Gamma from Sonic Adventure. I see a ton of people mix them up. They are not the same person. Or robot. This one is barely a reference because they basically came out at the same time, but in Shadow Generations Dark Beginnings, we get to see a more detailed version of Shadow 50 years ago with Maria, and in one scene in the third episode, you see Shadow and Maria in a field, which is pretty close to a scene in Sonic 3 during one of Shadow's flashbacks. This also shows up again later, but I won't cover it again there. While this was known way before the movie released, the logo for the movie where it says Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is basically just a more realistic and metallic version of the logo from SA2. When Sonic finishes his first race with Tails and Knuckles, he runs past the sign to show the finish line, just like in the classic games. Then after realizing Tails and Knuckles are both holograms, he does a dance while the Act Clear music for most 2D Sonic games after Sonic 1 plays.
Which means I remain the undefeated speed champion of all time! Yes! And the crowd goes wild!
When Shadow first gets to Tokyo, in the background there's a lot of giant screens with ads on them, and one of them is an ad for Chow in Space, releasing on June 23rd, which, if you don't know, June 23rd was the day Sonic 1 released in Japan in 1991. As for the Chow in Space, that's a movie that was advertised a lot in Sonic Adventure 2, and it was actually made and posted on the official Sonic YouTube channel in December of 2019. During Sonic's B. Arthur Day party, a gun helicopter shows up and Director Rockwell says,
Commander Walters is requesting Team Sonic's immediate assistance.
You hear that? Team Sonic? Like in Sonic Heroes? But yeah, Team Sonic is just the name of the team of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles in Sonic Heroes. But who needs teamwork anyway?
Together, we can overcome all the odds and show the world that teamwork doesn't make the dream work.
Probably one of my favorite references in Sonic 3 is when they're in the helicopter right before they jump out. So assuming you've seen my videos before and you've watched them all the way to the end, you probably know the last part of my outro. Talk about low budget flights, no food or movies, I'm outta here, which is from my favorite, and the best, Sonic game, Sonic Adventure 2. Well, Sonic says the same thing almost word for word in Sonic 3.
Talk about low-budget flights. No food or movies? We're out of here.
Also, random fact, my teacher has called me low-budget flights on multiple occasions. This one is barely a reference to Sonic Heroes, but right before Team Sonic lands from jumping out of the helicopter, Tails grabs Sonic and Knuckles before they hit the ground, and they line up in the same order from Sonic Heroes. That's the whole reference. It's literally 2 seconds long. This one appears a lot in Sonic 3, so I'll just say it now, but right before Team Sonic and Shadow fight, you can see a giant screen that says Chaos Cola, just like the signs in SA2. Dang, they were going crazy with these Tokyo ads, huh? Also in the background of Tokyo, you can see a billboard with Professor Victoria. This was before she was ever in a Tails Tube episode and was only known from Sonic Unleashed human concept art. When Team Sonic first sees Shadow, he's standing up on a gun tank, and when Sonic first meets Shadow in SA2, Shadow is standing up on a gun mech that Sonic just destroyed. Pretty similar if you ask me. You didn't ask me, but whatever. After Shadow fights Team Sonic, while Sonic says, okay, he took us all at once, he falls down in front of Shadow, just like he does in Shadow 05's cinematic opening cutscene. Right after Sonic falls, Shadow walks over to a motorcycle and picks up a gun and drives away with it. While the motorcycle is a reference to Shadow's Dark Rider, which appears in a few games like Shadow 05 and Sonic 06, the gun is only a reference to Shadow 05 because the whole time you're running around with guns shooting enemies. In a Sonic game. Sega, are you okay? After Shadow disappears, Tails and Knuckles find Sonic and they go to the Chow Garden, which is a restaurant where people are dressed up as Chow mascots, which are obviously based on the Chow Gardens in SA 1 and 2. Also in the background of this scene, you can see some Chow drives like in Sonic Adventure 2. When Commander Walters is explaining Shadow's backstory, he calls Shadow the ultimate life form, which Shadow calls himself a lot too.
even if I'm not real. I'm still the ultimate life form, Shadow the Hedgehog.
When Agent Stone takes Team Sonic to where Eggman has been hiding, it's a giant crab. It could be a reference to crab meats, which originally showed up in Sonic 1. When Shadow first gets to the Gun Mountain base, he has a flashback to when Maria was alive, and one of the things she did when she met Shadow was draw a rabbit face on the tube he was stuck in. Does that rabbit look familiar? Well, yeah, that's Mr. Boom. Well, yeah, that's the Sonic Beta rabbit design. While in the flashback, Shadow and Maria are watching a movie, and in it there's a giant lizard alien with a life support thing on its back. This is a reference to the Bio-Lizard from Sonic Adventure 2, who was initially meant to be the ultimate life form, but was discarded after it could barely survive on its own. When Maria and Shadow are going up to the field from earlier, they go into an elevator, which is pretty close to the one in Sonic Adventure 2, specifically the ones in Prison Lane and Iron Gate. When Team Sonic are exploring the Gun Mountain base with Eggman and Agent Stone, Stone asks Knuckles if he's afraid of ghosts, and it shows Knuckles screaming while watching Casper the Friendly Ghost. Knuckles, it cannot be that scary, bro. Anyway, this is a reference to Knuckles having to fight King Boom Boo in Sonic Adventure 2 in Eggman's Pyramid, which I guess probably scarred him. When everyone splits up in the base, Sonic and Eggman go into the room where Shadow and Maria were watching the Bio-Lizard movie, and in the back you can see an egg robo-toy, which is obviously the same as the ones in Sonic 3. The game, not the movie. When Team Sonic is tied up, Gerald shows Eggman his invention that he gave to Gun in exchange for his freedom, the Eclipse Cannon. I don't know if this is really a reference since it's a key plot point, but in Sonic Adventure 2, this is called the Ark, and it's basically the same thing as the Eclipse Cannon, except Shadow and Maria lived on the Ark instead of it being built after Maria's death, like it is in the movie. When Gerald is locked up, you can see him writing on the prison wall, just like the writing on the walls when Sonic is locked up in SA2. Okay, we don't actually know if the writing is from Gerald or not, but who else could it have been? Tails? While Eggman, other Eggman, Agent Stone, and Shadow are flying to London, the Eggmans use VR headsets to live out the bond they never got to develop because they were separated their whole lives till now. During this flashback, they go on a roller coaster, and if you look to the right here, you can see it says Eggman Land, just like the final level in Sonic Unleashed. While Team Sonic, Tom, and Maddie make a plan to get into the vault in the London gun base, Maddie suggests that they should use the Master Emerald so Super Sonic can do it for them, but when she says this, she gets holographic Sonic from a head icon that's the same as the one in Sonic Mania. Right before Sonic runs in towards the base, you can see Tails' scream, which has Miles Electric on it, just like in Sonic Unleashed. While Sonic gets into the gun base, it plays a little melody in the background, which sounds pretty similar to a song you all probably know and love. I said probably. When Sonic catches up to Ivo and Gerald Robotnik, who are dancing, he runs into the wall, and for a split second, he makes a pose like when he gets hit in the classic Sonic games. In the vault, the gravity is constantly switching to push you up or pull you down, which is controlled by a little tablet. This is a reference to Crazy Gadget, where the gravity is constantly changing throughout the level. When Shadow, Eggman, and Gerald get onto the Eclipse Cannon, Gerald gets new suits, which are basically a live-action version of the modern Eggman suit, which debuted in SA1. Also while they're on the Eclipse Cannon, Agent Stone calls Eggman, and Eggman's ringtone is the song Eggman from Sonic Adventure 2. Very clever name.
What do you want, Stone?
While the Eclipse Cannon is taking off to space, it plays a more orchestrated version of Eggman's theme from Sonic 06. Listen. Also, something stupid about me that's proof I've never played 06 a single time in my life. When I was watching this movie in the theater, I genuinely shouted, "Is that the Sonic Colors Eggman theme?" After Tom gets hurt by Shadow, Sonic goes to take the Master Emerald from Wade, who's wearing a hockey jersey and using the Master Emerald as a hockey puck. Anyway, Wade's number on the jersey is 91, like how Sonic came out in 1991. During Shadow's flashback on the Eclipse Cannon, it shows Maria and Shadow running through a hallway being chased by gun soldiers, kinda. While it's not a one-to-one recreation of Maria's game death, it's close enough, I guess. While Super Sonic is fighting Super Shadow, they fly by what I'm assuming is Egypt with a bunch of pyramids, which is a reference to the desert area from Sonic Adventure 2. After Sonic and Shadow team up, Gerald released the gun robots on them, which are pretty much identical to the ones in Sonic Adventure 2. I guess this is where the Chow Garden got its Chow drives from, huh? While Super Shadow is fighting the Clankers, he does a pose which looks pretty similar to the one he does at the end of Sunset Heights Act 1 in Shadow Generations. Then after that, they destroy even more more bots, and while they all explode, they do this pose in front of the explosion, which is the same pose they do in Sonic Adventure 2's opening cutscene. Then when they're still fighting the robots, how many of these things are there, bro? Shadow sends these spears at them, which is like Chaos Spear in Shadow Generations. When the laser fires, Sonic and Shadow both block to do like they do in Sonic Adventure 2. I will say that it looks cooler in the game, but I'm probably in the minority on that take. After Sonic runs out of energy while blocking the laser, he starts to fall to Earth like Shadow does in SA2. I don't know why the writers decided to change the roles in the movie, but it's still cool either way. After Sonic falls, Shadow can't hold the laser on its own, and it shoots past him, just barely missing Earth, but it ends up hitting the moon instead, like how Eggman intentionally shoots the moon as a threat in Sonic Adventure 2. To save Sonic from falling, Tails and Knuckles go to an airtight door on the bottom of the Eclipse Cannon, and when they open it, Knuckles sends Tails flying out into space to catch Sonic. This is like the doors in Tails' level, Eternal Engine, in SA2, where if you accidentally shoot one of the doors, they'll open and you'll fly out into space and die. While the Eclipse Cannon is blowing up, Eggman hacks all the TVs in London and streams his final words to Agent Stone before he explodes on the Eclipse Cannon. He does a similar thing in Sonic Adventure 2 where he hacks the TVs in Central City to play a recorded thread about blowing the city up. After Team Sonic gets back to Earth, it plays the song Event, the last scene, from Sonic Adventure 2, which is the song that plays at the end of the game after Shadow supposedly dies.
You're the best teammates a hedgehog could ever ask for. And the best friends. Can you ever forgive me?
Carry out the revenge on all those who live here on Earth?
He was what he was, a brave and heroic hedgehog who gave his life to save this planet. Shadow the Hedgehog.
And finally, at the very end of the movie, while Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Tom, and Maddie are camping, Sonic makes a giant s'more that kinda looks like the Master Emerald altar in Sonic Adventure 1. Okay, wasn't expecting to end a video about references on a s'more, but okay. Anyway, let me know if I missed any references in the movie or what you want me to cover next for references. It could be Sonic 2, Minecraft, Sonic 1, Minecraft. Yeah, there aren't too many video game movies to cover. I guess me and Sharepet could do the FNAF movie or something, or I could do Mario, but whatever. Anyway, be sure to like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want, and talk about low budget flights, no food or movies. I'm outta here.